I think Museveni made a commentary on the changes he made when he said, I am releasing a slightly edited cabinet. Slightly. All that happened was very insignificant changes in the cabinet and changes that don't communicate a particular message. Because he dropped the minister for Karamoja and the deputy, understandably, because both of them were in court over the stealing of Karamoja iron sheets. But they were not the only beneficiary. If you say both of them were in court, what about Amos Rugorovi? What about everybody else who benefited? Because this Mabati was shared by nearly 20 ministers. So really, and that undermines the attempt to say as NRM they have taken action. There was no action taken. Was it a cabinet for because usually at half year Museveni makes changes. Sometimes those changes are to strengthen his team as he goes for the 20 or for the next general elections. I don't see any strength in the team that he has brought in people who are great mobilizers. I think the only message that is in these changes is that it's now tradition that every 2.5 years Museveni makes changes, so he has made changes even for the sake of it. That's what I see in these changes. The only institution where there are some changes that are significant was in the military, where Mr. Museveni appointed his son, the CDF. But most significant for me is, again, you see, casually sometimes Museveni can send a message. The list of the changes in the military for the first time, and I have covered Museveni for the last more than 20 years, the list also has the guest of honor. Who will be the guest of honor when Mbadi is handing over to Muhoozi Kainerugaba? And Museveni says the guest of honor will be Salim Sare. It is the first time that this is happening. And that message is telling everybody that we are now under family rule. Because after Museveni and his brother and his wife, I think the person that occupies number 4 is Muhoozi. And within the military, I think Muhoozi cannot even answer to the Minister for Defense. Because the simple function like a handover, Museveni should have allowed the Minister of Defense to preside over, at least to create an artificial impression that the Minister of Defense is in charge. Because the hierarchy of the defense, that the CDF is answerable to the Minister. But if the Minister cannot even cannot be entrusted with presiding over the handing over of office, really you are just a minister in a name.
What is the legality of that now?
There is no legality in it. It's not illegal what he's doing. You cannot accuse him that he's doing something illegal, but he's doing something irregular. That you get someone outside the defense establishment with want to preside over defense functions when you have 3 ministers in defense. Because I think Muhoozi cannot, nobody in the government can preside over his function, because even his promotion, it is Salim Sare who came to preside over. And interestingly, because at that time, David Muhoozi, Wilson Mbadi was still the CDF. Sare didn't want to salute Mbadi, so he came dressed casually, as if he was going to milk cows. So the intention was that, no, if I go dressed in military uniform, I will salute Mbadi. So one way of avoiding that embarrassment, he came dressed in civilian clothes. So really, Museveni is arbitrary, but he's also casual, but he's also contemptuous. I think he holds the country in contempt, that you can get family people, maybe even the rank was negotiated. Again, the other message you can read from this is now the unofficial disbandment of the Muhoozi pressure group, which we had been told will become a political party and its principal will contest the 2026 election. Museveni has answered that Muhoozi will not be a candidate, it will be Museveni. And I think Muhoozi had given a pointer when he was in Masaka, when he said he elect people who will work for development and who will work with Museveni. So the people who had been excited by Muhoozi's birthday parties and subsequent rallies now must find refuge somewhere else. The outfit has unofficially been disbanded.
There are those. There's a section of public who are saying that he has made him stronger because he has extended near to the rule.
There was no doubt that Muhoozi was stronger. Which rank and which office did he hold when he started going around and the division commanders are waiting for him? You saw when he was going into Masaka. It was as if the president was one going to Masaka. So really, Muhoozi does not, from today onwards, nobody should be deceived that Muhoozi becomes stronger by an appointment. He's stronger simply because he's a son of Museveni, and that is it, whether he's appointed or not. That's why he has been flouting the UPDF Act and the Constitution, and no action is taken against him. So for him to be stronger, he does not need any office. So now, but he can be contained in a particular office.
Honorable, now that he is the CDF, will it reduce some of his time and
it is not going to be, it is not going to be possible for a CDF to go to Masaka to address Serare. It is not going to be possible for a CDF to go to Kapchorwa to address Serare. That has ended. That whole Pirao group now is disbanded. And that's why Museveni picked Lilian Abe and Barugara, and he made them ministers. So the rest you can go and look for another accommodation elsewhere. So that story of Muhoozi and the presidency has ended, at least for now.
General Muhoozi comes at a time when the opposition and the section of public have been accusing gross human abuse, especially by security agencies. So what is your take?
You see, again, you need to understand why the military sometimes descends into violence, why they become violent. The military becomes violent when Museveni's hold on to power is challenged. Remember when the Honorable Bobi Wine was arrested, people were shot and killed in Kampala, in other parts of the country. When Museveni is not under pressure, this military will be friendly. But it is a point of last resort when Museveni is under pressure. And his son, by the way, is accused of having masterminded the killing of people and kidnapping and disappearing of people. Because I think Muhoozi Kainerugaba has become unofficially the first line of defense, defending his father to continue staying in power. Because naturally Museveni trusts Muhoozi Kainerugaba more than any other military person.
You remember the Minister Chitutu Saga, where she was asked to resign, and many other people like Minister Namuganza and so on. So the president has retained Minister Namuganza, but Chitutu has been axed. What does this mean?
I don't think Museveni worries about Parliament anymore. That ended. His worries with Parliament ended mainly with the 7th Parliament. If you remember the 6th and 7th Parliament, Museveni had even proposed that the Constitution should be changed to give him authority to disband Parliament in case of a disagreement. The subsequent parliaments, under Kadaga, a few disagreements, but eventually Parliament was able to toe the line. So ministers Kutesa and Jim Wezu were censored by the 7th Parliament, I think 6 and 7. Those ones had to go because Parliament was a very strong institution, but it also had the advantage that many of Museveni contemporaries were still part of Parliament. Was presided over by Wapakawulo, the Kategayas, the Bidandu were still part of Parliament. You now have a whole lot of new generation. People who are in Parliament just because there is a salary to pick, not who are in Parliament because they want to change the direction of the country. So I don't think Museveni worries about Parliament anymore. So the decisions of Parliament, he may even forget which decision they made.
What do you see ahead of fighting corruption in this new cabinet?
There is no fighting corruption under Museveni. Museveni survives in power partly because of corruption. The only difference is that Museveni has made corruption official. If you remember the report into the ghost soldiers, Kazini said there was official corruption and unofficial corruption. Museveni does not have to go and steal money. He gives himself as much as he wants. That's why at his residence he has 622 billion shilling. The rest of government people, those who have no opportunity to give themselves money, are the ones who can be accused of corruption. I mean, look at Museveni's wife, the son, and everybody in his family. They all have a convoy from here to, from Koro, where we stand here, to Wandege. Isn't that corruption? I saw Moz going to Masaka. Does Moz have a budget to fuel all those vehicles and fuel the helicopter? Really, Museveni's family and group are corrupt officially because they get money. How much they want, they will give themselves in the budget. The Kitutu and Nandutu can be hounded because they are not part of the ruling class. They are just employees who are looking for jobs.
What message do you give to the new entrants in the cabinet?
They can go and serve themselves like others, because I don't think there is anything corrective that Museveni wants to achieve from a cabinet. First of all, he runs a government at State House where he employs more than 1,000 people. Most of his work is done there. That's why his party the other day was crying they can't meet him. The last time Museveni had held a meeting of a National Executive Committee was after the death of Oranya. Since then, decisions have been taken on the phone. So people who are in the cabinet, by the way, some of them also see Museveni on TV. They are in the cabinet, but they never get to see him. They also see him on TV and hey, this is the president. They are like you, they are like any other person. There is no difference apart from giving them a vehicle and a policeman.